Good day to you all. It's a gloomy day where I am today, but today we're going to go through a mobility and stretching routine. You won't need much. Some mat, some water, stay hydrated. And then there is one exercise where a resistance band could come in handy, but you don't really necessarily need it. Okay, just gonna move this up a little bit. Okay, so let's start on your knees. You could do this standing as well. We're just going to do some neck circles. So we're going to drive the chin all the way into the chest. Just turn a quarter, whichever direction you like to start. Peel all the way back. Really stretch the neck. Come down on the other side. And then back to the center. So we'll do 5 of those in your chosen direction, and then we'll switch. Okay, about 2 more. Make sure these are very slow and stretched. Last one. Okay, and reverse. So now in the opposite direction. And last one. Okay, cool. Let me readjust this mic for all the moving I'm going to be doing. Okay, we're going to go into shoulder cars now. So you can still stay in this position if it's comfortable. We're going to take both of your arms, so palms facing out. We're going to drive them together towards the center and bring them all the way up so the palms are facing the back of the room. Once you get to the top, we're going to rotate. So now palms are going to be facing out, and then we'll lower them. As you lower, continue to push towards the back. So you want to get a full stretch in the shoulders. Move this water bottle. Okay, and then once you get all the way back, we're going to just reverse that action. So now we're going to bring them back out to the side, up, rotates. Now palms are facing back like you started, down towards the center, out towards the sides, and then that makes 1 rep. So we're going to do 5 of those. So let's bring it back towards the middle, palms up towards the sky, now palms towards the back. Rotate the shoulders so that palms are facing out. Drive them down and back at the same time. Get a good stretch in the shoulders. And reverse. I know it can get confusing on when you're supposed to rotate the shoulders, but your body will know once you feel like you need to move in order to complete the action. That's the time to rotate. Okay, you're on my pace. That should be 3. So we got 2 more after we return to our starting position. Okay, last 2. Make sure you're breathing. It's very easy to want to hold your breath. Last one. And reverse. Okay, good. Next, all loosey-goosey. Shoulders are good. Let's go into wrists now because lots of people tend to have stiffness and weakness in the wrists. So we'll come hands and knees first and face this way. Okay, and so from here, we're actually just going to shift the weight to the fingertips and lift the palms off the ground. So this is a wrist extension, and then back down. 2, 3. We're going to do 8 of these. 4. Again, nice and slow and controlled. The idea is to stretch, but to also gain strength while we do this. So the slowness helps with that. Okay, let's just do one more. Okay, good. Let's peel hands off. We're going to clasp them together, and then we're going to do wrist circles. So again, kind of just like the neck, full circles in one direction. We'll do about 6, and then full circles in the opposite. I don't know if you can hear my wrist popping. Okay, and reverse. Okay, good. Let's give that a little shaky wicky. Okay, so we're going to go back into that position, but instead of having fingertips facing forward, we're going to reverse so that the fingertips are facing your body. So block out the arms, put the strength in the shoulders, and then we're going to just rock your hips back a little bit to stretch out the wrist. So we don't want the palm coming all the way off the ground in this particular stretch. Just a little bit until you feel it. Hold for 2 seconds, and then rock forward. So we'll do those 6 times. So rock back, hold for 2 seconds, and then rock forward. 3. 2 more. And 6. Okay, we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to flip the palms over. So now your fingertips are still going to be facing you, but now the back of your hands on the floor. So same thing, straight arms, strengthen the shoulders, and then we'll rock back. And forward. So we'll do 6 in this direction as well. Last one. Okay, good. Let's check that out. Okay, we have one more thing for the upper body, then we're going to move to the hips. So this is where that band could come in handy if you have one. If not, a stick could work, a towel could work, doing it with nothing could work as well. So what you want to do is you can sit on our knees like we were before. And you're going to pick attention, so you'll have to play around with your arm placements, but I'll show you what we're doing, and then you can decide where your hands need to be. So we're going to actively be pulling this band apart as we are driving our arms and shoulders above the head, and then we're going to reach towards the back, touch our butt, feet, or whatever, and then reverse. So with that position, if once you got to about here and you couldn't go back, that means you need to loosen your grip a little more and even pull apart as you get there. So you want to be able to keep your arms locked this whole time. If you have to bend your arms in, that means that you need to increase the distance between your 2 hands. Okay, so that's the motion. Let's do 5 of those. Okay, so pull the band apart if you have it, above the head. Once you get about here, you're going to have to pull even more so that you can get your shoulders rotated behind you. And then reverse. That's 1. That's 2. 3. 2 more. I challenged myself with this band today, so definitely feeling it. Okay, final 1. And back. Okay, nice. You get rid of that. Okay, I'm just gonna, so I have my toes curled. I'm just gonna stretch my toes out really fast. Okay, moving into hips now. So we're gonna start with hip cars. So lie on your side, whichever side you wanna start with. Legs are gonna be fully extended. You can prop yourself up, but I find this a lot easier if you lie down flat. So just extend both of your arms in front of you. You can clasp your both hands together, make like you're holding hands with yourself. Okay, let me adjust this mic again. Like every time I move, it has to move. Okay, so we're in this position. So top leg, we're going to drive that knee as high into your chest as you possibly can. So full flexion. Now from here, keep this position, but then open up the hip. So bring the knee towards the ceiling. Again, as far back as you comfortably can. Once you find that position, keep that knee in this position, but we're going to just rotate the foot towards the back. So it's a slight external rotation of the hip. So once you drive your foot back as much as you can, drop that knee down to the floor. Okay, now bring it forward. Remember, my knee is still bent. Now I'm bringing it forward. We're going to pause here, and then you're going to reverse that. So now you're going to donkey kick back as far as you can. Rotate to open up the hip. Bring that knee close to your head as much as you can. Bring it towards the chest, now towards the floor. Now it's kind of touching the floor, and then we'll extend that leg back to our starting position. So let's go through that again. I know it can be a little complicated. Okay, so hip flexion first. So driving the knee into the chest as high as you can. Boom. Now we're opening, bringing the knee towards the ceiling. Boom, we're pausing here. Rotating that foot back. Dropping the knee towards the back. Now bringing the knee forward towards the chest. Pausing here, and now reverse. Donkey kick back, much as you can. Open up that hip while simultaneously driving the knee towards your head. Now we're bringing it back to that starting position. Okay, so that's our second one. We're going to do 3 more, so 5 on each side. So we'll try to do some of these solo. And again, it's important that you do this very slow and controlled because, one, that's how we stretch, but that's also how we build strength. If I did this super fast, my muscles would barely feel it. That's 3. 2 more. And also pay attention to how this hip feels because when you switch sides, it's kind of nice to see if you notice any tightness in one hip as opposed to the other. And that's just more so some need to know information for yourself. Like once you know, oh, I have a really tight left hip, then you can work on your left hip a little bit more. Last one. And kick back. Okay, nice. Sure that hip's feeling weird things right now if you've never done that before. Okay, let's switch sides and we'll do 5 going the other direction. Like my bun's like all lopsided. Oops. So now we're going to challenge you and see if you can do these 5 by yourself. Make sure you continue to breathe. So again, we tend to hold our breaths a lot more than we think we do. Okay, if you're following my pace, you should have just completed number 3. So we got 2 more. Last one. And if you did more or less than me, that's okay too. All right, nice. That's 5. Okay, this next one's going to be a little interesting. It involves a lot of ankle mobility as well, so let's just kind of see where we're at here. But we're going to get into a deep goblet squat. So I'm starting in my knee position. I'm just going to take one leg, plant it on the floor, wider than my hip, and I'm going to take the other one. So put both my hands in the middle to balance myself, and then I'm going to bring the other one to the side. And then I'm going to drop my hips, sink them as deep as I can. Using my elbows, I'm also going to push my knees apart to really help with the stretch. Now, as your elbows are pushing your knees apart, I want you to actively push your knees together. So you're kind of like resisting against yourself, which is really going to help you stretch. So let's hold that for a little bit. Okay, and relax. Okay, and then go into it again. So elbows pushing apart, knees pushing together. So every time you do this, you should kind of notice you can get a little wider in the stance. And if you need a break because your hips are burning, you can come out of this and then get right back into it. Okay, last one, push apart. Okay, good. So I'm going to kick this up a notch. So let's go ahead and we're going to stay in this position, but I'm just going to bring my feet, heels back a little bit more towards my glutes. I want to kind of come up tall, and then I'm going to drop one knee into the ground. I'm going to bring that back up, and then drop the other knee into the ground. So we're internally rotating the hips here. 2. So yes, your hip flexors are probably burning. I understand. 3. We're going to do 2 more. Last one. Okay, good. We'll stand a bit. And we'll just stretch out the hamstrings a little bit. Give the hips a rest. Let's just go down as far as you can. Okay, we only got 2 more. So let's come back down onto our knees. This is going to be a little bit for hip mobility and ankle mobility. So we're going to be in this position. It's also going to require some balance. So this could be something to help you with that as well. So from this position, we're actually going to curl your toes underneath. Knees are going to be hip width apart. We're going to rock back onto the heels. And then back to the knees. Come up. Shift the hips forward. Sink the hips back. Rock onto the feet. And then we're just going to keep going back and forth in that position. So we got the hips activated. And then when we flip, we got the ankles activated. It's 3. It's 4. Let's do 2 more. 5. Gotta put a little momentum to flip back. And 6. All right, switch. Last one, world's greatest stretch. This is going to be for your hip flexors and also your spine. So we'll start in the little lunge position. Okay, so from this position, let's shift the hips forward, bringing the knees over the toes. Okay, the hand that's furthest away from whatever knee you chose, just put that on the ground. Other arm, we're going to rotate towards the sky. So let's give you a nice twist in the spine. Now when you come back in, drop that elbow as deep as you possibly can towards the floor, and then back out. So we'll do 5 each side. Really twist. Every time you come back up, fight for more stretch. Okay, let's do 2 more. Okay, good. So we can rock back and switch sides. Okay, so remember, start in the lunge position and then shift the hips forward. Opposite arm on the ground, and then we're twisting. Bringing the elbow in as deep as you can, and twist. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, good. I actually just thought of one more stretch I would like for you to do for your quadricep. So kind of stay in this position that you're in. Lean forward just a little bit. Lift your back foot off the ground. If you can reach it, that's great. Grab a hold of it. If you can't, just having it elevated will do great. Okay. If you're able to grab it while you're pulling your foot towards your butt, actively push your foot towards the ground. So again, creating that resistance within yourself. If you're having trouble with balance, grab onto something near you, or you can even put a hand on the ground. Okay, so hold that for about 5 more seconds. Okay, slowly release it. Let's do that on the other side. Okay, so shift forward a little bit. Lift the back foot. Reach back with the arm. Grab the foot if you can. Pull the foot towards your butt. Actively drive your foot into the ground. Same time. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, slow release. All right, well, let's just sit in this butterfly position for a little bit. And stretch out the hips a little bit more. All right, thank you for joining me in this morning mobility and stretching. Hope you feel a little more awake, ready to start your day. Body feels loose, blood feels flowed, spirit feels high. Share this with someone who might need a nice morning stretch routine in their life. And I'll catch you in the next workout.